guys haven't seen the movie When Friendship Kills, I'd highly recommend watching it, and I will explain what the movie is about and also my opinion of this movie. As someone with a eating disorder, I feel like this movie is extremely accurate on how they portray the eating disorder, and honestly, it's really far ahead of its time. In case you couldn't tell, it is an older movie. It came out in the 80s, in like the late 80s, if I remember correctly, and it is from the Moment of Truth series. The story follows two girls, one named Jen and one named Lexi. Lexi struggles with anorexia and bulimia, while Jen struggles with mostly bulimia, not so much anorexia. But Lexi struggles with both anorexia and bulimia equally, if that makes any sense. In the beginning of the movie, it is very clear that the reason why Lexi moved out of Chicago and into like another town, I forgot what town it was, she basically went through a lot. Her parents split up because her dad had an affair with someone else. And Lexi and her mom and her younger sister moved out of Chicago. So, this is one of the many triggers that could happen amongst people developing eating disorders. In fact, parents divorcing is the most common trigger for an eating disorder to start. Lexi starts off with just quote-unquote dieting. She made one of her goals to lose only 15 pounds, and she made a goal of eating healthier. But then, one day, when she was hanging out with her friend Jen at her house, she caught her friend Jen purging. If you don't know what the term purging means, purging is basically when a person with an eating disorder forces themselves to either throw up food or take a bunch of laxatives and poop it out. Not even like after, like immediately after eating, basically. And some people use diuretic pills to basically get rid of what they have eaten. Now, I am more experienced with the more restrictive side of eating disorders, and also binging, but definitely not purging, because I feel like I am more qualified to talk about Lexi's restrictive side of her eating disorder, and binging, because I have gone through binging and restricting. I've never gone through purging before. I can't even touch my own tongue without feeling disgusted. But for Lexi, she basically started showing warning signs of anorexia, and during a volleyball game, her mother found out about her eating disorder because, well, she ended up collapsing midway through a game because her heartbeat was really weak and her muscles became weaker and smaller, which is a common sign of anorexia. When she collapsed unconscious, her mother took her to a hospital to get treated for an eating disorder. She was later on diagnosed with anorexia and bulimia. Her friend Jen, however, was not getting any help because bulimics are able to keep a normal weight while anorexic people lose a massive amount of weight. And at a party on a beach, well, something bad happens, but I will discuss more about Lexi's family dynamic. Lexi's father Although I do think he had the right intentions, the fact that he kept commenting about her weight as someone with a eating disorder, that could be very triggering, regardless if it's a negative or positive comment. Lexi's father made comments such as, "You lost all that baby fat at first," because he thought that she was just trying to get healthy. But then he quickly learned that, well, she was anorexic and she was starving herself, basically. Her father basically came into the house and saw his daughter, Lexi, so weak to the point where she couldn't even hold up her own head. And Lexi's mom was trying everything she could to save her child. The more that Lexi's life became stressful, the worse her eating disorder got. When Lexi first got out of the hospital after, I guess, my estimate is a month of treatment, she was recovering and she gained a healthy amount of weight back and she was doing better. But then she decided to tell her mother about her friend Jen basically being bulimic. And she explained that Jen was the one who taught her how to purge. Lexi's mother tried talking to Jen's mother about how Lexi thinks that, well, actually knows that Jen is bulimic, but her mother was very uneducated and said, and I quote, "Jen is not underweight. You could tell by looking at her." And Lexi's mother explained that bulimics are able to basically maintain a normal weight, but they could still be in danger. And I've done research about bulimia because I've met people who've struggled with bulimia and anorexia. And what she said is true. Most bulimics are of very average weight, and you wouldn't be able to tell if someone was purging because a lot of bulimics are really, really good at hiding it. And Jen's mother basically was very uneducated. Although she was very uneducated, I don't think Jen's mother had any idea of what Jen was doing, because I've met people with bulimia and a lot of them know how to hide it really well. And I've also been in the mental hospital, so I have seen a lot of people with eating disorders too. Also, I have asked doctors questions about eating disorders because I was recently diagnosed with one as well. But as the Jen's bulimia got worse, something really, really bad happens to Jen. Jen starts becoming more irritable, and she ends up lashing out at people more. Eventually, during a Labor Day party, when she was out on the beach partying and drinking a lot of alcohol, she runs into the road when Lexi tries to stop her, and the car hits her. But the car hitting her is not what killed her. Her bulimia caused her to have a cardiac arrest, which caused her to die. Basically, Lexi also relapsed into her eating disorder because of the grief of losing her best friend Jen, but then by the end of the movie, she gets better. I would highly recommend watching this movie. I will link the movie down in the description because it is surprisingly accurate given how people who restrict, binge, and purge and what a lot of us go through. For me, I struggle with binging and restricting. I don't know if the binging aspect is just like caused by my depression, because it only happens if I'm severely depressed. But I do mostly restrict, given the fact that I have ARFID, avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. I hope you guys enjoyed this movie review. My name is Star, and I'm out. Later. And comment down below which movie or TV show or anything like that should I review next. Bye!